So the last thing that you want is to trace your hand, because this is a life drawing. What's better is to use a position that is a bit more dynamic and offers something more interesting to draw. So tracing is definitely out of the options. Try something that's a little bit more dynamic and fun. I like to have my fingers in different positions, and in this tutorial video I want to show you how to break down the hand into simple basic geometric shapes. So I took a still photo of this position that my hand, I tried to keep it generally in this position, but you're life drawing, the hand's moving around, you can't help it, it's okay. So what you first want to look at with the drawing is the palm, and it makes the general shape of a square. Next you look at the thumb joint that's inside the palm and how it kind of makes a triangle if you look at it, and you can sketch that in your initial sketches. Then your fingers are essentially lines. They're just creating lines in this first step, and you get the direction of where the lines are heading, what angles that they're at, and you can just, a simple line. It's not too complicated. Then you take those lines and you shape them into cylinders, and they're just, if you keep thinking of them as cylinders and something simple rather than labeling them in your head as fingers, it makes things easier to wrap your head around. After that, you look at the shadows on the cylinders and you shade them as you see them, and the highlights as well. And now that I've, simplified it, as you can see, let's move on to the real deal. So I've got my hand beside me, there's a nice light source, and I'm going to start exactly as I showed you with that game plan. I'm looking at the palm, I've sketched out a square shape for the palm, lines for where the fingers are going, like the directions that they're making, chunking them out into cylinders, and after those basic geometric shapes, I've sketched the outlines, made it a little bit more accurate, and then did another layer making it a bit more accurate until I had a general outline that I was happy with of the hand. And then with a variety of pencils, I went in and shaded it, paying attention to, the highlights and shadows. It's no different than drawing an inanimate object if you just follow those simple steps. Basic geometric shapes, looking at the negative space. I had a lot of fun looking at the negative space between the thumb and the forefinger and the index finger and the Toby Tall finger. There was some negative space, some emptiness. So I paid attention to that as much as I did the fingers themselves. And I could do that as well with the spaces between all the fingers. And then just as if you were using grid art, comparing and contrasting, like where do the knuckles line up with each other? Where do the fingertips line up? How close, how far away? And you're constantly comparing and contrasting the different parts of the hand to the other parts of the hand in order to get an accurate drawing. And the same thing goes for the value as well. Is this the lightest area? Is this the darkest area? Is it lighter than this? Is it darker than this? Especially when you see the ring finger and the baby finger. Look at how they are in shadow, but they're casting shadow at the same time. So I was asking myself, is the shadow on the finger darker or lighter than what's behind it, the shadow that's behind it? And that helped me play around with with creating a sense of depth here, that the finger is raised off the palm of the hand and is in air. I used a smudging stick here to really try to get the flesh texture of my hand, trying to get the intricate little, folds and lines and creases. If you overdo those lines and creases though, it ages your hand, it makes it look too old. So if you're younger and you don't want to have a overly wrinkly hand, then careful that you don't over exaggerate those wrinkles. And then after the blending stick, I went back in and increased the darker values that I might have lost by smudging. And I took an eraser and I brought back the highlights and just made sure that things stayed crisp. Remember, the smudging stick isn't the end result. We got to make sure that everything stays crisp and you have that full range of value from light to dark. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial video on how to draw a hand. Please remember to click on like and subscribe to my channel because there'll be more videos coming after this one. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.